41 years to do, and that's to turn my daughter from a liberal Democrat to a
Okay. Happy to do it. Anything else? City, county? What are other needs you guys have?
We won't speak up. Go right ahead.
We wanted to thank you from a law enforcement standpoint
Sure.
for your work bringing in incentives to bring law enforcement officers from across the country to say Florida is a law enforcement friendly state.
Yeah, no, so for law enforcement, we're really proud. So we had, last summer, obviously, there was law enforcement was under the barrel. And I said, I'm standing with these guys. This is totally unfair what they're doing to them. And we need to have safe communities. And if you go down the road of defunding law enforcement, you're going to have hell to pay on the back end. So what happened? A lot of these jurisdictions turned their back on law enforcement, cut the funding, all this. Crime has absolutely skyrocketed in a lot of these jurisdictions. Now they're actually trying to get funding back in because they realize how insane it was to do it. So but what's happened is, it's not all necessarily even about the money. Obviously that matters. But when people don't feel supported doing a job that can be very dangerous. I mean, we're going to have the 20th anniversary of September 11th on Saturday. I think we all remember that day. It was probably one of the most significant days in the history of our country. But when those buildings were on fire and people were running for their lives, you had the fire, the police, these guys, they're running into the building. They're taking people out. They're going higher up to get more people out, knowing in all likelihood that they were not going to make it out themselves. And so when you see things, that's obviously a really grand scale of tragedy. But when you see these things happen, these are the folks that are the first ones to go and respond on our behalf. And so when the morale is so low in some of these parts of the country and people aren't supporting them, our view is there's needs in law enforcement in Florida. We need more people to be involved. There's spaces available. So what we're doing incentive-wise is not just for people from other states that come, they will be eligible for a $5,000 signing bonus. So if Seattle, you don't like Seattle or Portland, and you want to come to Florida, you can get that bonus. But it's also for people in Florida who've never been in law enforcement before who choose it. So a lot of young people who choose this as a profession could also be eligible for the signing bonuses. And we're also helping provide funding so they can go to the law enforcement academies. People in Florida can get a bright future to go to the University of Florida or Florida State or whatnot, and that's fine. But what about this? So we're really making an effort. And I think what's going to end up happening is I think you're going to see folks who like what they do, want to protect people, don't feel like they're getting the support they need in those jurisdictions, and I think they're going to look at Florida. So as we talk about like recruiting businesses and jobs, generally, private sector, of course, very important, but we really have an opportunity here in Florida, given what's gone on in the rest of the country, to really be a leader, and I think that we're doing it. This package, I think, is going to sail through the legislature when we go next session, and it sends a very clear message. We did $1,000 bonuses for all first responders this last legislative session. So police, sworn law enforcement, fire, rescue, EMT, and it was deserved because it was they did a lot over the past year. But I'll tell you, particularly the law enforcement, what they tell me, they say thank you. Obviously, $1,000 is helpful, especially if you have a family, you're trying to balance checkbooks and everything. We understand that. But it was not the money that really, it was the fact that we're doing that showed that we stand by and that we appreciate them. And that's really what they appreciated, more so than even the funds. And I think similar with the signing bonus, like that may be something that entices, but I think more than that, it's just a signal to say, yeah, we value what you're doing. We understand safe communities are important. And if you go down the road that some of these other places have gone, there's not a single jurisdiction that's done that where their communities actually got safer. In fact, the communities get worse. And if you look at a place like Minneapolis, it still hasn't recovered from that. This is over a year later, still hasn't recovered. And so this has really, really big consequences. Yes?
Mayor Bob Campbell, first of all, I want to say welcome to the city of Phoenix Springs, Jamal and Dan. So we're real proud of your team. Our staff works for your team, especially with DEO on a regular basis. And so just want to let you know this county is got a great blend. Even though we got a real diverse culture in this county, very large area in this county, BCC, our school board, our cities. We got 3 cities in this county have a tremendous working relationship, and we want to continue to blend with you guys and make sure that no one gets left out. And you know, I see this because we are a historic place, and I see this as like the old guy hopping out of the Model T Ford with his little top hat, you know, shaking hands with a guy in his, you know, his business casual coming out of a Learjet. That's who we are. We're all about preservation, but we're also about moving forward in innovation. And so this is a wonderful, wonderful place to live. I think you guys would enjoy it. You know, you might want to get a second home here.
Superintendent of schools.
Thank you so much. I was a part of your transition team, superintendent of school, Walton County. I want to thank you also. You did mention the $1,000 that you gave for schools, for our teachers. We're thankful for that as well. Glad to know the stand that you're taking on school. We take that same stand. 96% of our students were in school, in schools last year. We started the school year off, didn't delay last year. And because of that kind of commitment, because of that kind of support from our commissioners, state, city, local persons, agencies, we're in school, we're having school. We know the importance of children being in school, and that allows our families to work, allows our employees to work, and we appreciate your work with us as well.
Well, thank you for your effort. I mean, I think when you're in education, there's a lot of ways you'll make a difference over your career, but I think last year takes the cake in terms of the impact, because if you had not done what you guys did by making sure those kids had access to school, it would have taken years to be able to recover from that. And we're seeing that in other parts of the country where they lock the kids out. And remember last year, I got sued because we had schools open. They tried to close the schools, and we won that case. But I just knew, I knew the data was very clear, and that's the thing. You know, follow the data or listen to some people who are just always saying things that just aren't backed up by the fact. So we knew that the schools were important, and we knew it would be a low risk environment. But we just knew so much that we do virtual better than anyone in Florida, but it's not the same, and not even close, particularly for young kids, particularly for people with special needs. And so one of the reasons we did the $1,000 bonuses for the teachers and the principals is that even though I was getting sued to close it, you know, most teachers, particularly up here, they wanted to get back because they knew their students were falling behind, and they knew they needed to do. Most of the principals wanted to get back to be able to do it. And so we really think last year it was crunch time. We had to figure out what we were going to do. We in Florida were not going to leave these kids behind, and it was challenging. We still have challenges that we have to do. Incidentally, I'll have a pretty significant announcement next week on education, so stay tuned on that. But we did it, and now we're going to continue going forward, and we want to have a smooth and effective school year. So we're proud of you guys. Now, we're going to work together. There's more we can do. You know, I anticipate being back with some other stuff in the future because I think you guys are going down a good track. I hope next time I'm here is not because of a hurricane aftermath. I mean, we're right in the heart of this season. We had a tropical storm kind of brushed through, which you know was a system, and then it kind of went. But we're ready for it. You guys know, and so we'll see what ends up happening as we go. You know, that one in Louisiana was a pretty big one. But because this is something that they learned from Katrina, their infrastructure was better. That really held up. They learned some stuff on the response, and so most of the worst damage was not in Louisiana in terms of mortality. It was all the way up in the Northeast because it wasn't something that was necessarily, people didn't think it was going to be as big a deal. So one thing with hurricane season, as I know, in Walton County is certainly one, and these others, especially in the Panhandle, you know it's something you gotta contend with, and so you're ready, and you just know. So hopefully we'll pray that we get spared. We don't want to see another Michael type situation, but we're right in the heart of this thing. So I watch from Africa over every single morning. I look on, is there something doing? You know, they had the one hurricane that's pretty strong, but it didn't even come close to the U.S., and so that's kind of what we like to see. But thank you all for everything. What do we have?
Yeah, Ron Skipper, our tax.
Oh, good. Yes.
Thank you for coming. We've heard about law enforcement, and we've heard about teachers, but I just want to talk to you tonight about our senior citizens.
Sure.
And on behalf of the Florida tax collectors, I just want to say thank you for your support. As president of that association this year, my initiative is to be able to go into assisted living facilities and homebound, our veterans lodges, to be able to help those pillars and those pilgrims that have paved the way for us to be able to give them an ID card.
Okay.
We're trying to do that through the department, but any support you can lend us for that, we would greatly appreciate that. And thank you for your service and
Good. Great. Yeah, no, let us know. We can be helpful. So, okay. Let's do the checks. Okay, we got both of them. You guys want a commissioner? Who wants to come? So we got two of them. You want to just, yeah. You guys just line up. Oh yeah, of course. You got everybody? Not yet? Almost. Okay, got it? Good deal. Okay. Great job. Yeah, of course. Yeah.